All right, day 3, Daring Faith Devotional. Today's title is called Faith Means I Trust in God's Promises. Today's verse is Hebrews 11:39 through 40. All these people earned a good reputation because of their faith, yet none of them received all that God had promised. For God had something better in mind for us, so they would not reach perfection without us. Hebrews. Okay, it's a little disheartening. This verse is talking about all of the biblical heroes that demonstrated faith by listening to God's promise. People like Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Noah, David, Samson, you know it, all of them. But all of them faced difficulties. Faith means to trust in God's promise. I'm a big believer that God has a plan for all of us. Jeremiah 29:11, or maybe flip those. Maybe it's Jeremiah 11:29. God has a plan. It basically talks about how God has a plan for all of us to prosper and stuff like that. If you look back through the Bible, all of the main people had two things in common. They weren't the greatest people, first off. Moses killed a guy before he freed Egypt. Abraham had affairs, not really affair, but slept with somebody that wasn't his wife. David had an affair. All of these main people were not quote unquote good people, which is always a fun thing. Kind of two sides of that coin is, growing up in the church, I was always jealous of the people that had those cool testimonies where they're like, yeah, I used to do drugs and I killed 8 people, but then I found God. And I don't know anybody that killed 8 people, but I found God and he saved that. Those were always really cool. And then I, as somebody that didn't really have the drastic testimony, was always like, wah, 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 that's kind of lame. I grew up in the church, but I think God uses all of us for those reasons. Personally, I know that the challenges I've gone through in my life have set me up to have these conversations with you guys. I've battled weight my whole life. Been chunky, thin, chunky, thin, chunky, thin. I can communicate better with you guys about those struggles. Being a Christian my whole life, I have a good foundation of what faith and the Christian belief system is. But in that, I have also wavered on that path. So I do know what the real world looks like as well. And that's kind of what this verse is talking about. It's the God has something better for us, which it can only be, through Jesus Christ. But the last paragraph kind of sums it up really nice. It says, when you feel like giving up, remember the heroes of the Bible and imitate their faith. Probably one of the people in the Bible that I think gets the least amount of credit is Noah. Everybody knows who Noah is, the flood and whatnot, but that guy, when nobody understood what was going on, spent years building an ark. It wasn't even raining outside, and this guy's building an ark, saying, there's going to be a flood, I'm going to get a whole bunch of animals, we're going to live. The amount of people that must have made fun of him, but the Bible says he faithfully walked with God. That's why he was chosen. And that's something I know in my life I want people to see from me, is that, yeah, they might not understand this channel. They might not understand where we're going with this. There's times where I don't even understand where I'm going with this. But that's kind of the nice thing, is that faith is a journey. You hold your hand with Jesus and you kind of keep walking. It's a powerful thing. And it's kind of nice to know that we should try to be like the people in the Bible, intimidate their faith, but one day your faith and theirs will be rewarded. And I think that can only be the day that we die to our body here on earth and go up to heaven, is that is when we will get the true reward of that faith that we have with God and with Jesus. That's actually pretty deep when you think about it. And kind of sad at the same time. No matter how hard we're going to try, I guess you could kind of look at it two ways. No matter how hard we're going to try, we're not going to ever hit perfection. So do we even try? It does say, it does say God has something better for us. So how do we want to take that? Do we want to try knowing that we're not going to succeed? Or do we not try and not... Well, I guess if we don't even try, we then won't be rewarded, is how that's kind of coming out. Let's reread that again. All these people earned a good reputation because of their faith, yet none of them received all that God had promised. Let's stop there. I don't even know what I think about that. Let's read the second part. For God had something better in mind for us, so they would not reach perfection without us. I think that has to go into the whole concept of heaven. Is earth can be great. There's some amazing things on this planet. But heaven's going to blow it out of the water. It's kind of like technology. When you were 5, there maybe wasn't smartphones. Now we can't live without them. I'm filming on mine right now. That's amazing. We can do more with, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe that the very first iPhone had more computer power than the first rocket ship that got us to the moon. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's something, or we have more technology power in the cell phone than we did in a rocket that took us to the moon. That's mind-blowing. Blowing? I don't know what I was going with that word. But I think heaven's going to be like that. It's I love Disneyland. Disneyland, I go there and I'm just like, wow, this place is magical. They do call it the happiest place on earth and the magic kingdom and all that good stuff. Heaven is going to be, this is an awful analogy. This is actually kind of comical because I'm playing it out of my head. Heaven is probably going to be like if Disneyland and the iPhone came together. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say there? I don't think our mind can wrap around how great it's going to be. And that's what I think this verse is kind of saying, is that no matter how good our reputation is going to be and how good we are here on earth, heaven is not going to be anywhere close to how good we have it here on earth. But in that, I think it also is saying we shouldn't give up trying to be faithful. All of these great people of the Bible had amazing faith and great reputation, and they brought so many people to God. And I think that's kind of what it could be saying is try our hardest, but that we're not going to succeed into the perfection, but there is going to be perfection eventually one day. I'm now just saying the same thing over and over again. What did you hear? Let's go to the three questions. I heard in this that people should try and earn a good reputation, should try and be faithful, even though the fact of the matter is that there's something better that God has in mind for us, and that we're not going to reach that perfection, but we should still strive to be the best that we can be for God. How do you think this applies to our life? I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Being the best person we possibly can. Especially in today's world, that's rough. That's hard. Multiple things pulling at you. Yeah, I would try and be the best person you could possibly be. What will you do? So what is that actually going to look like? I I keep going back to it, but I would say this 517, doing this devotional, trying to get that conversation started with you guys. I want to have them. We can have them down in the comments below. On Facebook, we can have them anywhere. Twitter. I want to have those conversations and help you grow in your faith just as much as you're going to help me grow in my faith. And I think by that, we can add some real light and goodness into this world that sadly is not an everyday event. So yeah, I think that's where we're going to leave today, is that we need to trust in God's promise. That there is a better tomorrow. But I'm going to add a little, and this is just me adding myself into this, is that tomorrow is going to be in heaven. I think we can strive to be as great as we can here, but we're not going to get that end result until that day comes, that we're in heaven. But yeah, I'd love to have, what do you think it means? This one was a lot harder to kind of grasp than the first 2 days. Faith means I trust in God's promise. Basically, we got to trust in God's promise. And his promise is that there'll be a better tomorrow. When that tomorrow is, I think it's heaven. When do you think it is? Let's have that discussion down below. All right, guys. Have a great day. God bless.